Greetings, hello, and welcome everyone to Age of Mythology Retold. This is going to be a guide video on how to play as Gaia or the Atlantean civs. This video is going to be focusing on how to play as the Atlanteans. For this one, I am playing as Gaia, but this video should apply to all Atlantean civs. Now, Atlanteans, I think, are one of the easier civs to play as, especially from their economy standpoint. We'll go ahead and get into why that is. With Atlanteans, you get what's called citizens, not villagers, and you have a villager with a donkey, and they can both build and gather. You don't need any drop-off points for any resources with the Atlanteans. You can simply just go ahead and click on any resource, and they will go ahead and immediately start getting that resource. You don't need like a lumber camp or anything like that. You can see I'm already just starting to go ahead and get the wood from the villager. You can also take any human unit, so a villager, an oracle, your infantry, whatever, you can promote them to heroes. And when you promote them to heroes, they gather faster, and they build faster as well for your villagers. With your regular human units, when they're promoted to heroes, they do more damage, so on and so forth. So it's all dependent. You can promote all of them right here by, for me, it's the H key, or you can click this button here, and there's a little bit of cost there. But they are much, much better. So when you're playing as Atlanteans, you just want to be careful that you're not sending your villagers out. Because there's no drop-off buildings, you may be encouraged to like go get resources further away from where you're defended. And that can be a little risky, so just be careful. Now, also while playing as Atlanteans, you're going to start with 3 oracles. Now, these oracles are kind of cool because they are both the way that you generate favor and the way that you scout. And you can see you can turn this on in settings. It'll tell you kind of their line of sight radius, and you can kind of see it's increasing. So as they stand still, they're going to generate favor and generate line of sight. So when we walk out of my base here and we start walking around, you're not going to be able to see a whole heck of a lot in terms of line of sight. And let me queue up a manor here so I can keep making villagers. However, if the oracle stops, you can see the line of sight increases, and it can actually get kind of ridiculous on how much you can see. And when it's standing still, I don't know if actually you generate favor when it's standing still or when it's moving, but nonetheless, this is how you generate your favor. So you can have a maximum of 10 oracles, and that'll be the maximum amount of favor that you can generate. Now, I like to just send my oracles looking at the minimap to kind of different locations, and then wait a while, and then see, you know, kind of what they discover in terms of vision for relics, other town centers, things like that. Just remember that you're going to need to like and once you reselect them and move them, the line of sight is going to decrease again until they stand still somewhere else. So it's really good, and also at a cost because they don't have line of sight until they stand still. So it's a risk-reward type play, I think, with that. Also, your oracles will generate more favor the more spread out they are from each other. So what I like to do as the game kind of progresses is I'll look for corners or places where I have a whole lot of control with my buildings and my base and all that, and I will send the oracles there. So they're protected and they can still generate that favor, because after a while, there's not really a whole heck of a lot of line of sight that you need when you discover most of the map. Now, the 3 Atlantean heroes are actually quite different from one another for their god powers. For Gaia, you start out with what's called Gaia's Forest. Select a location to grow some trees. Villagers gather wood faster from these trees. So you select that, you put it there, and trees will start coming out of the ground. They have 250, which is more than a regular tree, and you also gather from them faster. So my recommendation is, you can see you actually can drop it again a second time for free. You may even be able to do it 3 times, I forget. But nonetheless, you want to get your wood from here. This is really where that's important. I'm playing as Gaia, so you get this Gaia lush that kind of spawns all over the place. And if we look at the tech tree, here are the benefits for Gaia. Your promotion to citizens to heroes is 25% less, so that'd be more expensive if you're Oranos or Kronos. Your economic guild technologies are 40% cheaper. And then you have Gaia Lush, which heals, friendly units and buildings. So that's what this Lush is. I think in Legacy, The lush also meant that your opponent couldn't build on it. And I don't know if that's carried over or not. It might be, it may not be. You would have to check, test that out more in depth than what's in this video. Now, when the Atlanteans, they're included in the base game here for Age of Mythology Retold, but fun fact, back in the day, this was DLC. Or not really even DLC, it wasn't downloadable. You had to go to the store and buy the disc for the Titans expansion, is what it was called. So the mechanic of all the Titans building, reusable god powers was introduced, the 3 Atlantean characters, all of that came from the Titans expansion with that campaign way back in the day. So I'm really glad that it's here included in the base game. So just like any other civilization, we need a temple to get to the second age. So we're going to go ahead and queue that up. And we have found a relic here. And like I said, any human unit can become a hero unit in for the Atlanteans. So what I like to do, the best way to do is use your oracles to pick up the relics. You can also, you know, discover where they are by moving your oracles around. You can't even pick up the relic until you have a temple. But when you see it and you build your temple, you can promote your oracle to a hero. He kind of turns Super Saiyan a little bit. He'll actually generate more favor, by the way, when he's a hero oracle compared to a regular one. And then you can pick it up, take it back to your base, and drop the relic off there. You can do it with villagers, by the way, if you promote a villager to hero or you are using the starting ones from Gaia. It's just not as good. You know, you want to be using your villagers to be getting resources, not picking up relics. It's an opportunity cost. The more time your villagers are spending getting relics, the less time they are going to be getting resources. Some people will also use this Gaia Force, like, offensively as well, like, you know, to block off opponent units from attacking you. But if you have the ability to use, go ahead and use it. It's free. Just drop it somewhere, you'll get some more trees going, and that can really help out your villagers and your economy. Atlanteans can build manors instead of houses. The resources are a little bit different. You can only build a maximum of 8. They support 20 population, however, and you can garrison 2 units in the manor. So if you want to place them a little bit more strategically, like maybe buy resources outside your base or something, that is an option. Then there's also this economic guild building, and it kind of looks like a drop-off building. You may ask yourself, well, what even is this if the Atlanteans don't have drop-off building requirements? It's actually a place where you see all of your upgrades for everything. So the pickaxe, hand axe, the plow, husbandry, all of your economic upgrades can be found here in the economic guild. What kind of a strat is, because it's so cheap, 30 wood and 9 gold, is kind of like a mini strat with Gaia in particular. Because the lush grows around Gaia buildings, is you might see sometimes players dropping this near where there might be a whole lot of combat, maybe even forwardly. You know, like, let's say there's going to be a big battle right here between these 2 tree lines. I might go ahead and drop a couple of economic guilds here so the lush can grow. And I think I can't no, I was going to say I don't think all the buildings have to reach for the lush to grow, but no, they don't. So the lush just starts growing. That way you can kind of heal your units in combat if that's something you really wanted to do. We've made it into Age 2, so I go ahead and I get a myth unit, as you always do. For Atlanteans, they're a little different on how they structure their buildings. They have just the military barracks and the counter barracks, and it's just as simple as it is worded. Your military barracks is where you're going to build your main military units. The counter barracks is where you're going to build your counter units. It's as simple as that. Atlanteans are at a little bit of a disadvantage, you'll see here. The only thing you can build are your base infantry, not your base cav or your base archers. You actually have to wait till you get to Age 3 to do that. However, on the counter barracks, you can build everything here. So this is going to be your counter cav, ranged soldier cavalry, good against other ranged soldiers. Now, if you really wanted to, like, let's say you wanted to promote all these villagers, and remember, promoting your villagers to heroes makes them gather resources faster and build faster and all the rest, you can just select a group of them. So I want to promote these 5, and you press H or tap the button, and then they'll all be promoted to hero at the same time. So you don't need to individually click villagers to promote them. And you'll notice that this town center, well, I wasn't actually paying attention prior, but they do build this faster. And since the Atlanteans don't require drop-off buildings, you don't need to be as close to building your farms near drop-off buildings as every other civ needs to. So if I wanted to build farms like, I don't know, like way over here, just in the middle of the field here, I definitely could do that. They cost a lot more. They're double the cost, and it's slower gathering like how the farm is for every civ. However, I still like putting my farms around a town center as if they are drop-off buildings. The reason why is if I get attacked, they can garrison inside the town center. If I just drop a farm anywhere, well, they're not going to be, unless they're near like a fortress or a tower or something, they're not going to be able to take cover if I get raided by an opposing unit. So I still do that. It doesn't really matter, again, where you put your farms as Atlanteans. I mean, you can put them way back here in the corner, kind of by the tree line if you feel like that's safer for your units. It's kind of really all up to you. Again, just remember that getting farms... farming at a farm is the worst way to kind of get food. You want to go for your herdables, your berries, fish, and then finally, farms. So now that we're age 3, we can build all of the regular units from the military barracks, and then we always could from the counter barracks. But the military barracks is really, really good. And a lot of people really like the counter units from the Atlanteans as well. For myth units for Gaia, really what I have isn't they're the bulk of where Gaia really shines. I would actually say maybe myth units might be the weakest part of the Atlanteans, especially if you're facing against other Atlanteans. The reason being is hero units are good against myth units, and if every single hero unit can become a myth unit as the Atlanteans, then what's the point? It's an easy counterable move. I can just go ahead and promote both of these infantry to heroes, and then go ahead and push, you know, this priest or whatever because he's being annoying. Now, it's all dependent on the individual major gods that you pick in the Atlanteans that kind of differ from the other ones. So, for example, Kronos can actually teleport buildings from one location to another if you have line of sight. That's kind of unique to that civ. If you're playing as Oranos, you can build sky passages, which allow you to teleport your units from one location to the other. Gaia doesn't have that. I think where Gaia really shines, again, is the lush that you kind of see taking over the map, as well as the cav. The cav is kind of ridiculous for Gaia. I like using this tree thing, which is a god power you get in age 3 if you research. We can figure it out because they're both named very similar. Not Rhea, but Thea. The focus is on cavalry. You can get this tree that makes these dryad units. They only cost wood, and they're good against human soldiers. They are a myth unit, but they're really, really good for the cost, and they're trained out of the tree. The tree can be controlled, by the way, by opponents if they get close enough, so make sure you're dropping that in your base. But really, the bulk of Thea is this Poseidon's secret. It steals Poseidon's secret knowledge, making your cav units cheaper and faster, reducing the cost of promoting them to heroes. And you can see all the benefits there. It's really ridiculous. So what a lot of people do is they go mass military barracks and make a whole bunch of the cav here and getting all of the upgrades necessary for that. And then you can kind of promote them to heroes and all the rest. Okay, we've made it to age 4. This is the time where we're going to go ahead and be suspects, if you will, to the opposing team. Now, I went with the, I apologize, I forget the minor god's name. Is that Hecate? That doesn't sound right. But you get the Tartarian gate, which is absolutely insane. I've dropped this before in other videos, so this is a gate that there's like these giant demon things that come out of the ground. They're hostile to all. You also get this myth unit that can evoke chaos at range, meaning that the units become hostile to everything in there as well. You can't really go wrong, too, if you go Atlas, because this Argus myth unit is crazy. A blob of acid that instantly kills most opponents. And then there's also the Implosion. That's the power where I say where Cell comes back. With Gaia as well, if you really didn't want to go Cav by going Thea for age 3, you could go Rhea as well. The Trader, you can take permanently any unit and convert it to your side. These behemoths are great. They regenerate, and they're really good against buildings. And then there's the Horns of Consecration. That's where you get favor slowly for forever, which is pretty great as well. And then there's is there a reduced cost for making your heroes, maybe? No. But nonetheless, I really think the worst that you could go is Leto here. The automatons just aren't it right now, even though they can build and repair each other. The spider layer, I think, is kind of crap. The carnivore is just so much better. And this myth unit here is that Caladria, I believe. I apologize if I'm mischaracterizing the myth unit. But it heals your units, and it can only be attacked in range, so that's really good too. I just think Gaia is just really good, and again, I could take, you know, some of these villagers here and like maybe behind queue up some economic guilds. The reason why I want to do that, if you remember, is so the Gaia Lush can build, and that will allow my units to regenerate hit points if I have to retreat or pull back or whatever else. Where is his base? Is it in this corner? Am I going the wrong way? So I might want to cancel these. Just not waste their time, get the resources back. Yeah, here he is, okay. So what I'll do is, let's actually get into the base. We'll drop this here. Drop my plant thing. Oh yeah, we're gonna drop that right there. So, well, I kind of put both my leader powers on top of each other. It's not what I wanted to do, but that's okay. Because they might end up attacking each other since that one makes everything hostile to all. So we'll just kind of hang out in the lush and regenerate. So you can see the Dryad is healing. I don't think that they stack, by the way, if you put everything kind of close together. But this will spawn these demons, the Tartarian spawns, for forever until he deals with them. He just aged up. That's not going to help him. But this is kind of like what I like to do, is drop these economic guilds nearby so my units can heal, or if I have to retreat. Meanwhile, he's kind of all distracted by his Tartarian gate, so they have to destroy the actual gate itself. Meanwhile, I just avoid that because they're hostile to me. And I'll just keep building economic guilds all nearby. And he's kind of done. Also, I could try to, like... wall in the units. Oh, I can't because he is blocking me with this monument. Take care of those. Can I drop it now? Yeah. There must be another... Is it this monument, maybe? Let's destroy the monument. Now can I put that there? I need line of sight. Oh, the gate's gone. I thought it was there forever. Or did he destroy it? I'm not sure. No, it's still there. Huh, interesting. They might have changed it. I'm not sure. I can keep dropping this poor guy. But that's why I love Gaia. And the Atlanteans in general. I mean, they can really be a problem. You just got to remember that your citizens cost more to build than regular villagers. I think I forgot to mention that at the beginning. They cost some wood, more food, and they take up 2 pop, not 1. So you're not going to have as many villagers, but they're just so much better than regular villagers. They're pretty awesome. Guess I'll build there since he's not doing anything. Their units are really good, too. I mean, this isn't the only play that you can do with the Cav. They're also really good with, like, archers, and their counter units are awesome, too. They're just a really good civ, the Atlanteans overall. Not just Gaia, but all of them. They're really, really good. Be sure to check out the playlist that I have for all of the other civilizations in AOM Retold. Let me know if you have any other tips or strategies for new players for playing as the Atlanteans in AOM. And then finally, there's a playlist that we also have for all of the multiplayer games that we play in AOM Retold. We absolutely love the game. The gentleman has quit, and we are victorious. That's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching, everybody. And I'll see you, James.